Going in alphabetical order, diving into some of the teams that we're going to go up against in the Eastern Conference. Atlanta Hawks. Rated to be probably top 3, top 4 team in the East, depending on how you see Orlando. We're supposed to be top 2, they're in the top 3, so they're close to us. They made sizable improvements to their team. They made some trades, they lost some players, but they gained some. And I think the key thing to start off with, their gains, their bigs. Having KP, they actually add some good depth to their bigs. I don't think any of them are on the level of Cat, especially from a health standpoint. Yes, Cat gets nicked up. Yes, Cat gets injured. But by and large, what the Knicks have done is they've really added some good depth at their center position. When you look at Yabusele, when you look at Mitchell Robinson, it's a nice offensive, defensive mix. Whatever you think about Diawara, I think the Knicks have good depth at center. And I think our centers are better, especially from a health standpoint. No one knows what the injury was or the illness that KP had at the end of last season again in that Boston series, but he had something and no one has said that he's fully healthy. I hope that he recovers, but in our particular matchup, I don't really count KP as being that big of a deal, especially when it comes to the playoffs. KP in Boston's run to the finals only played 6 games. In this past finals, he didn't play much, and obviously he was a secret weapon for them. He was a big nuke, so to speak, because he could defend at the rim and also shoot threes. I really don't count him as a threat because he's been so inconsistent from a health standpoint. Also, the main engine for Atlanta, Trae Young. This is the biggest thing. I think that with all the losses that they've had, they've lost Karis LeVert, they've lost, who else do I have here? Capella and Niang. Those are the big ones that, to me, that played a big role. I don't count those guys as big enough losses to where it bothers the team. It's all about Trae Young and Trae Young's psyche. For all the credit that he gets for the way he performed against the Knicks in the playoffs, I really don't count him as a threat. The reason why is, for as good as he's been averaging like 30 points per game as well as 12 assists per game. Doesn't count because they haven't made the playoffs. This is a very good team, a very deep team. They drafted well with the #1 overall pick last year, Zach Risachet. He has been impressive. He's been a good shooting wing, and he's been very tough. I give that kid a lot of credit, but it didn't make a difference. They still lost 3 games to us to 1. Jalen Johnson is a big part of that. And Jalen Johnson was not healthy for the 3 games that we played after the in-season tournament game. Jalen Johnson is an incredible basketball player and super athletic. I think he changes a lot of things for Atlanta, but with the combination of KP, Jalen Johnson coming back from injury, the pressure on Trae Young to perform. No one's really mentioning this, but Trae Young is on a contract year. They chose not to pay Trae Young or not to just give up the money to Trae Young. It's kind of a prove it or lose it year for Trae Young. He may not get as big of a contract as he may want, and he may get traded if they don't make it to the playoffs. We got to add those things into the mix. There's a lot of pressure on Trae Young. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll perform, but he may be performing for his next team. Again, Atlanta has depth, wings, and they have all the talent in the world. They should be a good to great team. I feel like they're not as good as the Knicks, and they don't have the experience from the young guys, because the people that were on the team during the playoff run a couple years ago against Julius Randle in 2021, they're not here anymore. That experience is out the door. Jalen Johnson has not been to the playoffs. He's been in play-in games, but not playoff games. Same thing with Zach Risachet. Trae Young has all the experience in the world, but he hasn't been able to lead his team consistently to the playoffs. And he's not giving his team reps. For all that he does from a passing standpoint, dominating the ball, Jalen Johnson was his co-creator on the team. He ran offense through him. When he got injured, it really threw off the team. I really think that he's going to change life for Trae Young and reduce the amount of pressure that he has on him. But what does it matter if so many people that you depend on may not be healthy. Okay, couple stats. Against them, we played one of our highest paces. It was 98.6. Their field goal percentage was 51.8. Our field goal percentage was just a hair higher at 52.45. We've maintained and won the rebounding battle. Another key thing here is Mitchell Robinson has been healthy, and in the first game that we lost against them, he was not healthy. The Knicks at that time, which is a little bit of a seesaw, we were playing our best offense. Mitchell Robinson, we weren't a very good defensive team, but Mitchell Robinson wasn't healthy, and now he's healthy, especially in the back end of the games that we played against Atlanta. We dominated those, and Mitchell Robinson is a big part of that. I don't think Okongwu could keep up with Mitchell Robinson. I don't think that KP actually is strong enough to handle Mitchell Robinson. And like I said, it's an experience factor. Luke Cornett played well against Cat, but Mitchell Robinson is a different beast. I think going into the season with Yabusele, another young or athletic big that could play like a wing, I think he can mitigate some of the things that Jalen Johnson does or counteract it by doing some of the same things on the offensive end, right back at you. So I like what we're gonna have, and it's gonna be a hell of a matchup. Let's see what we do. Let's go Knicks. Peace.